So how do you read dot plots and frequency tables? Well, essentially what you're going to do is just take the information provided and look at the question that's asked and see what makes the most sense based on what you've been given. So here's the scenario. The following dot plot shows the number of songs on each album in Sal's collection. Each dot represents a different album. What is the minimum number of songs on an album? Well, the graph represents the number of songs. The smallest number represented is 7, so the answer will be 7 songs. Here's another dot plot. This time they're asking for the maximum number of cavities that a patient had. So these patients had 0 cavities. These patients had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No patients had 6, and these patients had 7. So the maximum number of cavities was 7 because nobody had more than 7 cavities. How many golfers took more than 3 strokes? So more than 3 strokes would mean that it would be 4 strokes, 5 strokes, or 6 strokes, because more than implies going beyond. So how many golfers took more than 3 strokes? Well, there are 10 that took 4 strokes. There are 4 that took 5 strokes, and 2 more that took 6 strokes. So when you put that all together, you're going to add 10, 4, and 2. So these numbers here, 10 plus 4 plus 2, 14 plus 2 is 16. So there were 16 golfers that took more than 3 strokes. What is the highest essay score? So here, the highest essay score, the highest number here is a 7. So the answer is just 7. I'm going to do it one more time just to make sure we have enough variability in the questions. So what is the minimum number of cavities that a patient had in this situation? Well, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 people that had 0 cavities. So the minimum number of cavities was 0. What is the most frequent number of songs on an album? The most frequent. Now, when you say the most frequent, what you're referring to is basically the number that's represented the most, and that's also known as the mode. M-O-D-E. So the mode is a number that would basically be the highest, or the one that's shown the most, which in this case is 10. How many magazines have 2 or more pictures? So all of these magazines, so this 2, 3, and 4 is 2 or more. So 2 or more will be all of these, which will correspond with this number of magazines. So the left column is for the number of pictures. The right column is for the number of magazines. So how many magazines have 2 or more pictures? So I'm looking at 3 plus 2 plus 1, and altogether 3 plus 2 is 5 plus 1 is 6. So there are 6 magazines that have 2 or more pictures. What high temperature occurred most often? So most often, again, that number that is the most is also known as the mode. And in this case, the mode is going to be very easily seen because you just look for the number, or look for the data point that is the tallest. And that would be 10. So as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. If you just read through the problems and look up any terms that you don't recognize, you should be able to identify all the answers to these questions relatively quickly. Let's get it done.